You'll never guess what interest rates did this week. And for the first time since October, we had over 200 homes go under contract in the last 7 days. Let's talk about that and more in this week's segment of Market Watch. Hi everyone, it's Joshua Barks here, associate broker with Keller Williams Realty Boise and the Barks & Co. Real Estate team. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's segment of Market Watch. I have an exciting one for you because we are going to talk about interest rates in addition to what's going on in the numbers. So first, let's dive into the numbers on what we saw over the last 7 days. Then we can dive into what happened with interest rates and what we're expecting to see in the short term and long term there. So, number of homes on the market. We are still below 300 active listings in all of Ada County. So, all 6 municipalities that make up Ada County, less than 300 available homes. Absolutely crazy. 296 overall. Last week we had 273, so it is still on the rise technically, just at a slow pace because demand is actually snatching them right off the market faster than they can come on pretty much, because we had 203 listings go under contract in the last 7 days. 194 new listings hit the market in the last 7 days. So we do have quite the deficit going on there. Overall, we have 736 that are pending compared to last week's 734, so staying pretty consistent there. Number of sales has come up this last week. In fact, we sold 200 homes in Ada County compared to last week's 149. Now, I actually want to backtrack and talk about that pending number, the 203 that went under contract in the last 7 days. The reason I find that significant, breaking that 200 threshold week over week, is because that's the first time we've broken the 200 threshold since the beginning of October of last year for Ada County. And at the beginning of October last year, we were averaging about 150 new listings a week. So that's why we were seeing, and we were averaging about that 200. That's when we started dropping off. That was the last one, was beginning of October. So we had 200 pretty consistently through November. And then in October, we dropped off there. So unless inventory starts rising, if demand is continuing to rise like it has been for the last several weeks, we might be staying under that or really close to that 300 available home number for the foreseeable future into the spring, which would really suck. So if you're thinking about selling your house, it's never been a better time. You are in the driver's seat because you really get to choose what you want to do and what you want to sell for. And really, you get to control what's happening, because most homes are seeing multiple offers if they are marketed well, priced correctly, and at a good price point to be at as well. So that's important. One thing to note with this market, especially with interest rates, is that everyone's situation is unique. It may be a great time for buyer A to buy right now, and it may be a terrible time for buyer B to buy right now, even though it's the same market. Same on the seller side. It might be a fantastic time for seller A to sell right now, and it might be a terrible time for seller B to sell right now. So you just don't know what you don't know. I'd love to help with that. I've met with so many people that are just thinking about it so that you can get your ducks in a row and figure out maybe this is a good market for you, or maybe now's a good time to wait, because you don't know until you find out really what's going on. And it's so important to have an agent that understands all of the craziness that's going on out there, as well as how to navigate that to get you to be put in the best possible situation for you and your family. So I'd love to be interviewed. My number is 208-914-1095. Of course, you can always email me as well. Email's at the bottom of the screen, or visit our website for more details on how we can help and take a look at our reviews and things like that. Okay, so now we'll talk about interest rates, because this week they actually dropped incredibly. We are below 3% for the first time since February, which I understand was only a couple months ago. But according to Freddie Mac, the 30-year fixed is now at 2.97. If you have stayed around for any of my other videos, you'll know that we hit the lowest ever back in January, around 2.5, maybe 2.6. and they've been rising ever since, except for the last couple weeks. They've dipped a little bit. Remarkably, with that, it's great news for homeowners that are thinking or have been thinking about taking advantage of those low rates on refis, and it's great for buyers right now that are getting under contract to lock in at those low rates, because we're actually still projecting interest rates to rise. In fact, according to another report that I read, we are looking at likely seeing interest rates 3.25% by the end of summer. Even though they've dipped right now, the biggest thing that's happening is COVID is still in the driver's seat when it comes to what the markets are doing and everything there. Typically, in a normal market, non-COVID market, when the economy is doing well and in recovery and everything is humming along, such as it is today with unemployment going down and all of those, and new jobs and all of those factors as well. Typically, what we see when the economy is doing well is interest rates come up. So that's pretty much why everyone is expecting interest rates to continue to increase. So likely, as long as the economic outlook is positive on COVID recovery, rates are likely going to continue in the upward trend. However, what we've seen with this pandemic really is some of the uncertainty in the market. So interest rates did decrease, and part of that is they, even though they dropped a little bit the last couple weeks, they are projecting that interest rates will start to go up pretty modestly very soon. So it's possible that in May, because that's the question I'm getting right now, in May, interest rates might drop or stay about the same, but we're at the end of summer likely going to see 3.25%, maybe even more from that. So if you are in the market on borrowing money, it's important to talk to a lender, and I'm happy to partner you up with somebody that knows really what's happening in the mortgage markets better than me, because I'm just studying on a macro scale and they can talk to you on a micro scale on what's going on there. So please feel free to reach out, even if you're just looking for lenders to start with, because I have some great ones in my back pocket, great local people that are wonderful to work with. And as predicted, just this month's reports have been booming when it comes to those mortgage applications. In fact, with the lower rates, mortgage applications, so people applying for loans, are up by about 8% this week compared to what they were just a week ago. So that's incredible. Mortgage rates are likely going to continue to rise. Demand is still skyrocketing and inventory is still incredibly tight. So it's never been more important to have good partners working with you if you're in the real estate market, because it's crazy out there. If I'm going to be completely frank with you, it is crazy. The important part is perseverance, education, and knowing that as long as you stick it out and know what you're doing and have great people in your corner, you are going to be successful. Again, my number is 208-914-1095, and my email's at the bottom of the screen. I hope that you guys found this information helpful, and I will see you next week for next week's segment of Market Watch. Until then, have a fantastic weekend.